7 on Tuesday mornings, we have a segment we call our Neighbors in Business. It's made possible by our friends at Northstar Bank. And what a business this is, the business of making great theater in Chelsea, Michigan. It's the Purple Rose Theater Company. And joining us this morning is Guy Sandville, Artistic Director with the Purple Rose. And also with us this morning is Brian Letcher, the great actor, former U of M football player. Let's start there and then go towards his acting career, best known for his role on the great political thriller and ABC Scandal. And Brian has written a brand new play, which is on stage and previews currently at the Purple Rose called Smart Love. Brian, Guy, good morning.
Good morning, Marty.
Good to have you down here. Brian, how did you go from a football career to an acting career? What are there similarities
Very
between
slowly.
these two fields?
There's a lot of similarities. The job insecurity is one of them.
Oh yes.
No, I was coaching football after graduated from Michigan with an economics degree. Decided I wanted to coach football. Was at Eastern Michigan, Indiana, doing that, and then decided that's a tough gig. Maybe not going to be for me. And I moved to New York City to work in the internet world. I was going to be an internet billionaire. But I thought I'd dip my toes in the water of acting. I actually went to see Guy at the Purple Rose. I'd taken a couple acting classes at Michigan. Went over to see Guy, talked to him. He told me to read the newspaper every day and learn how to enunciate.
Good advice.
Yeah, it was. It was really good advice, actually. And I went to New York and started taking acting classes at night while I was working during the day. And then I got a play.
What was the big break for you there?
The play was called Thumbs by Rupert Holmes. You know Rupert Holmes? He wrote Margarita or
Tequila.
The Pina Colada.
Pina Colada.
Yeah.
One of those drinks. One of those sweet drinks. Yeah, the Pina Colada song.
So he's a playwright. Yeah, and he had written another play called The Mystery of Edwin Drood, which had been a Tony, a huge play.
Rupert Holmes.
Right. So I got that play and had to, that was the decision. I had to quit my day job because that was a real play. We rehearsed during the day, not at night. And so I did. And that was it. That was the leap. And then, then it was off and running from there, building a television career doing Law and Orders. And I did NYPD Blue and did a couple movies in New York. And then when the work there kind of ran out, it was off to L.A.
Good stuff. How many is this your first play? Is Smart Love the first play you've written?
No, I wrote another play called When the Lights Come On about my experience coaching college football, which the Purple Rose did.
Got it.
Yeah.
Guy, tell us about how this collaboration with Brian came about at the Purple Rose. How did you first meet Brian?
I met him. He took a couple classes at the Purple Rose, and as he said, we had a meeting, and I thought he had great potential, and I told him that, we've kept in touch. He came back and acted in a show for us. He played the lead in a great production of Bus Stop that we did, and he wrote this play, and we read it, and I said, well, you want to do some more work on it? And we worked on it, and we decided to produce it, and it's been a really, really good partnership, I think. One of the things I've learned from Jeff, many things working at the Purple Rose, but along the way you pick up people who believe in you. You hang on to those. Well, we believe in Brian, and he believes in us. And it sounds, but it just makes for some really interesting work.
Brian, take us into the world of Smart Love, this new play. I'm really intrigued by the storyline. What happens?
Well, I can't tell you exactly what happens, Martin.
No,
I'm with you. It's about a family in Hamtramck, and they lose a mother, a father, and a son. And the son is a really gifted, really smart kid who's made his way to MIT, gotten a scholarship there. And it's about a loss in that family. And then the son's attempt to fill that void and using his intelligence, using technology to make his world whole again. And then the question is, just because we can do something, should we do something? So it's got a little bit of a modern day Frankenstein vibe to it. There's a lot of humor.
There is a lot of humor.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I learned from Guy and the Purple Rose along the way was you open the heart with laughter and then stick the needle in. So,
Sounds right.
so I always, when I'm writing something, I'm always trying to remember that is people need to laugh, and this play has amazing and a terrific cast: Wayne David Parker, Jim Porterfield, David Bendina, and Sarab Kamu, and they're incredible professionals.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Yeah, and so it's I think it's got a lot of humor and a lot of heart, and also seems to really the preview shows we've had seems to really ignite people's brains thinking about how we are going to handle the technology that's coming at us and the decisions we're going to have to make ethically, legally, morally. How does love work? How do marriages work? How do friendships work when technology is so vastly changing the way we communicate and behave?
And we were talking about this off mic. I'm also intrigued by this preview process. You're just finishing up about a week's worth of previews. Is this typical to get that much time to do previews, Guy, for a play here at the Purple Rose or in general in theater on Broadway?
No, not at all. It's we get to do 7 previews before an audience. Before our official press opening, which is this Friday. We have 2 of them left. And after the first 5, we do talkbacks or post-show discussions with the audiences, as we learn a lot watching them with us. They're our partners in this deal, but they help us fix the play. I mean, they have a hand in helping us shape the work, and it's really kind of unique in this part of the world. Usually you might get 1 or 2, but to have 7 is just invaluable.
Our guests this morning are neighbors in business from the Purple Rose Theater Company. Brian Letcher, whose new play, Smart Love, currently in previews, official opening Friday, you said, right, Guy?
Right.
And Guy, the longtime artistic director at the Purple Rose Theater. How long did it take for this play to get into finalized shape? And what's the editing process and the working process with Guy? Any specific instructions that he gave you to whip this script into play, Brian? What was some of the secrets behind it?
Well, that's a great question, and because it's rare what they do, and it's rare what Guy does.
Yeah.
And I think we were just talking about it on the way over here. The idea that the secret to getting, I think for me, a new play is you trust the process and you're willing to explore. So often with art, the tendency is to want to know what something's going to be because that feels safer.
Yeah, sure.
And this is, they really are committed to expanding the piece, the original piece you get, workshopping it. So I wrote a draft a few years ago that I did a reading of in Los Angeles. I took that draft and I threw it in the trash immediately after the reading because I knew that it didn't have the human element I needed. I was fascinated by the technology,
sure,
but I needed a human story. And I was in Ann Arbor researching another project I was writing. I stopped over at the Rose and I told Guy about it, and he said, well, write another 100 pages. I said, I think I have an idea that'll fix that. He said, write another 100 pages and I'll read it, which is, for a writer, immensely powerful. Just to know that you sitting alone in a room, there's a light at the end of there's someone somewhere who could possibly make this happen, who's going to at least read it. Once you get that, it was massive, and I wrote it very quickly, sent him a draft. 4 days after I sent it to him, I'd rewritten it again and sent him another draft, said, don't read that one, read this one. And then we set up a workshop, which was 4 days long, and we got some actors, which they do. The other thing they do that's fantastic is their workshops are not just professional paid actors, but the designers were in there, the lighting designer, the set designer. So everyone's listening to this play thinking about, in their department, how they might make this better. And that was just extraordinary. So then we did the workshop. I rewrote a ton during the workshop. Went back to Los Angeles, wrote another draft, and we had a production draft then. We started rehearsal in December. Basically, the first 9 days of rehearsal was another workshop. I was rewriting every night. Guy just showed me the binder in his car. And it's of all the pages we wrote, there's 400 pages that are tagged. There must be 100 tags in there about things we were changing.
Process.
It's a huge process, but there's an openness and a commitment to exploring and a commitment to doing the work that I haven't experienced anywhere else.
So last question, we got to run here, but what do you take as an actor into writing a play? I mean, being with other magnificent actors on Scandal. I mean, what do you learn at being an actor yourself? To put that into a play. What are some of the things you learn with working with the other great folks like Kerry Washington on Scandal? Yeah,
I think you learn that actors, smart actors, good actors, want to play complicated people. They want to play people that are, as Guy says, they are in a conflict of heart and head sometimes. So you want to give them plenty to do. You want to, set the table in a way that actors have. You can send them off spinning. Their imagination runs. They get fired up and passionate about what they're doing, and then you're going to get the best out of these really talented people, which is, I think, what we're getting.
I'm excited to see this play. Our guest this morning from the Purple Rose Theater Company in Chelsea, Guy Sandville, Artistic Director, and the director of the play Smart Love, written by Brian Letcher. So previews, couple more, continue, and then the opening night is Friday, Guy, correct?
Yep, and then we run through mid-March.
Yeah. And tickets and much more information, of course, at purplerosetheater.org, theater with an R-E, purplerosetheater.org. Break a leg, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us this morning. Really pleasure having you both here with us.